Well, we're talking about purpose and we're talking about entrepreneurship, and we're using the life of Elon Musk, the little that we know about Elon Musk, to learn how we can link these two. We've connected the two already in the previous episodes. We've seen why it is important to note that purpose can be connected to entrepreneurship directly for the most part. Of course, I know there are for-profit organizations and there are for no-profit organizations and so on and so forth. And both of them are purpose-related. But I'm talking about entrepreneurship on its own. When you stand entrepreneurship on its own, I'm telling you, there is not an organization, there's not an entrepreneurial organization that you can put it on a side and it doesn't have purpose. I guarantee you, name any. Tell me any one of them that doesn't have purpose, unless our definition of purpose is different. But in the vicinity of an entrepreneur, there is purpose, there is passion. So we're learning what are some of the things that we can exemplify, that are exemplified from Elon Musk's life, and want to apply them in our own lives. So stay tuned for this episode.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
So we are doing several lessons that we can be able to pick up from Elon Musk and his entrepreneurship, and how the entrepreneurship that he's doing is connected to his purpose. The first lesson we already picked up is you've got a dream on purpose. In other words, your field of purpose, never let it go. For him, it was as weird as putting a man on Mars, and he hasn't done that yet. But the way he's gone, where he has reached, he's been dreaming on his purpose, so much so that he's created his own shuttles, space shuttles. He's taken people to space. He's now renting to NASA in order to do that. And he's still on course. The dream lives on. It's a typical lesson we can learn here, that no matter how weird your purpose might seem to be, or your passion might seem to be, it pays to keep dreaming around it until it starts clothing itself in its physical equivalent and becomes fruitful. The second lesson we learned yesterday is number 2. You need to dare to push the limits. Dare to push the limits. Why? Because every dream, every desire, every purpose, every desire that you have there, every passion, is going to be faced by opposition and is going to be faced by impossibilities. Why? Because if it's a dream, it means it's never been done before, and so you are the trailblazer, and it calls you to learn to push the limits. Such an example is Elon Musk buying his own rockets at such an opportunity where only governmental organizations are the ones who are running or building rockets, but he decides to build his own rockets. Today, I want us to learn one more thing from Elon Musk, even as we're looking at his life. Number 3, embrace the mini detours. I've talked about this before. We need to learn one thing about life. Life is filled with opportunities for 2 things. Number 1, distractions. Number 2, detours. One of them is valid, another one is always going to be existing. The detours are opportune. They come at an opportune time. They are relevant. They offer growth. They offer connections. They remotely connect probably to your purpose. They are maybe connected to what you're passionate about, but they are not necessarily the main thing. I'm talking about the detours. They could be relieving in such a way that probably they bring in finances for something or for a season. Those are detours, and they are not necessarily the main thing. For a case in point, you might be offered a job in something that you are very well versed at the moment that you want to run your own company, and the job is well paying. That is a detour. Now, I've already handled that series previously. Can you take it or can you leave it? And I went into the pros and cons of that. But that's a detour which is valid. However, there is a distraction. A distraction, obviously, it is selfish. It is going to take you away from your purpose. Probably doesn't give you growth and doesn't have a future with it, and so on and so forth. That is a distraction. A simple distraction is your social media pages. Instead of writing an article in the morning, you're scrolling social media pages. A distraction is something that makes you a consumer more than you are a producer. But we are learning from Elon Musk. Remember, this guy we're learning from, that early on, his main purpose was innovation in the way we travel, especially in space. But that is not what he started with. Remember, that is not what he started with. His first startup was an online business directly called Zip2 before founding XCOM, which morphed into PayPal. That was sold for over 1.5 billion to eBay, if I get my facts correct. Now, get this. That detour, because his dream was always about travel, especially space travel. But then he finds himself coming up with PayPal. This is a detour, and it's a pet project, something that he can be able to do, something that can be able to crack his head on. It's an idea that has come to him. He's not bandwagoning someone else to work on someone else's idea. It was his own idea, which is a detour from the big time vision of travel. That was the break he needed before investing more than 70% of the millions of dollars he received from eBay's acquisition of PayPal into SpaceX, the main deal. So sometimes in our lives, we're going to come to a level or a position where we are forced to detour lucratively. But remember this, never forget what your major dream and what your major purpose is. Never put it down. It is okay to get employed. It is okay to take that job. It is okay to take that detour. It is okay to take that arm. It is okay to get that help from a brother. It's okay to leave your house or sell your house and get a detour and go back to your mama's house because of things that have happened. It is okay. That is how life is. Don't be so, this single-minded and so headstrong that you think it's my way or the highway. It's black and white. Life is not black and white. And I know us in the Christian circles, we want it to be black and white like that. Let me ask you a question. You remember in the Bible where David behaved like he was a madman? He cheated that he was a madman. Remember in the Bible where David went and he ate bread that was hallowed. It was supposed to be eaten only by priests. Remember that stuff? Remember the Bible says, thou shalt not commit murder, and David killed as many guys as possible. You remember that stuff? It is not black and white. At times in life, you'll be forced to go through a tangent that is not necessarily your main passion. However, whatever you do, you ought to give 200% excellence in that detour that you are taking. Case in point, David went and he aligned himself to the Philistine king, if I get my facts correct. And what did he do? He gave 100%. He was counted on 100%. It is normally the breeding ground or the rung for your next step in your purpose pursuit. You get to get clout from what you've already done. If you are lousy in what you did because it wasn't your main purpose, you'll forever be known by that reputation. It will stick on you. People will be looking at you with that reputation. He's lazy, he's like a bicycle, and all that stuff. every moment you are forced to a detour. I normally say this: if you find yourself wherever you go, put your roots down as if that is where you've been planted and do everything that is necessary in that particular place. That's why I call it a life signature. You work so much so that the work you've done speaks for itself. So learn to embrace these small detours that life inevitably gives you on your way to deploying your main purpose. Don't be so headstrong and say, I'm going to waste time on paper. I'm going to waste time on this small startup. My main startup is space. Let me just be talking about space. Allow some of these gray areas in life. And I know you need to go there with wisdom, of course. Don't sit on your wisdom. Don't sit on your brain. Go there with wisdom in these detours. But at the back of your mind, you know, I have a due date with my purpose. I have a due date to pursue my purpose. That's exactly what Elon Musk did. In other words, anything that comes to you before your main agenda in life comes to fruition, you're going to go through several mini agendas. You're going to go through several, maybe directly or maybe indirectly connected to the main purpose in your life. What do? You deploy with 100% excellence, like he did with the PayPal, so much so that eBay purchased the whole thing. That is number 3. Number 1 was what? Number 1 was dream on purpose. Don't get out of the circle of purpose. Your dreams, your ideas and your visions should be always around your purpose. Number 2, what we have spoken about yesterday, dare to push the limits, because you're going to face impossibilities. And when you push the limits, that's on the other side of your entrepreneurship. That's where the money is. But then number 3, we say today, make sure that if there is a mini detour, you're not seated, rejecting it, doing nothing. Embrace it, give 100% excellence to it. It could be the stepping stone to your next step in your purpose pursuit. Maybe it could even be a catalyst that you've been looking for all along. Tomorrow we continue, even as we've started winding down on this one. It's been an interesting, and we'll see how it ends. Stay tuned and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.